This is insane to think about. The greater Tokyo area, massive compared to the greater London area. Eevee with the response, fascinating but untrue. Tokyo is in Japan, not England. For reals, it's awkward to call someone out on this, but I think you got duped by fake news. Try to use more reliable sources next time. The Atlantic Ocean is so big, it can fit 7 Albanias in it. 7? Wow. You know what's even crazier? I bet you could even fit 8. I wonder how many Luxembourgs it could fit. Like 4? If 7.6 billion people lived on Earth, where would they live? 582 million in North America, 400 million in South America, a billion. Wow. I don't know what it is, but something feels weirdly familiar about this. It's almost exactly what we look like in real life. Europe. If Germany lost World War I and World War II. That's the key. They lost both. I know, unrealistic, right? Imagine taking 2 L's in a row. Yeah, I'm just really glad we don't have to deal with all this border core. This is disgusting. Countries with a favorable view of Chad. Huh, that's weird. Only African countries seem to bow down to the Giga Chad. The Chad army will not forget this, the rest of the world. They're just mad because they're all virgins. Gonna break character for a second just to reveal how dumb I am. I could not figure out the joke in this map because I was actually like, wow, why is this so informative? Till I saw the blacked out Australia prison population by percentage in this continent is at a full 100%. They're all in prison because why else would you be in Australia? That's me though, I'm just kidding. I love you. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little self-promotion, but it's not from myself. It's actually from my 12-year-old son. My 12-year-old son drew this map of Europe. Can you believe that? He got all the cities and countries named. He must have traced this because, man, these are just too perfect. Kid's a genius. That's like the most unrealistic start of a joke I've ever said in my life. How could I have a 12-year-old son when I too am 12 years old? Map of China, but if you were to get banned and redacted and probably never seen again. We have a united Korean peninsula, but with South Korea controlling all of it. Mongolia has become Greater Mongolia. Oh, Tibet is independent, and so is East Turkestan, and these little things were given back to the colonies. Just for reading this out loud, I'll probably never be able to visit China again. I'm just kidding. I was probably on a no-fly list way longer ago. Satellite map of the Korean Peninsula. I know what you're thinking, this doesn't feel like the Korean Peninsula, but trust me, it is. You know, those satellite maps just bring everything into perspective. You can really see it too. Look how developed South Korea is compared to the North. Like, you know these people are struggling up here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's barely any food. That's probably why they eat each other's faces. Ah, yes, the USSR, if they reformed in Iceland. Never thought about this, but no, they have a point. If the USSR formed Iceland, it would look like this. Communist Iceland probably would be pretty good. It'd probably work like Cuba, except cold with a volcano. Map of the USA for all the Central European deniers. I forgot that there are people that refuse to believe there is such thing as Central Europe. People want to be either Western Europe or Eastern Europe. Well, here's the USA version of that. The West Coast includes states that are infamous for being very West Coast. Texas, Kansas, Nebraska. Man, I can just smell the Pacific Ocean from there. Then we have famous East Coast states like Minnesota and Iowa. Ah, so much history from the 13 colonies. I'm sure they have some towns built there from like 400 years ago. I recently reviewed a map of Africa in 10 million years. Now this is where things get good. Africa, but in 10 years. Feast your eyes, gentlemen. This is the first time this image has ever been revealed. You're welcome for the channel exclusive and for predicting the future like this. Ah, yes, a low resolution image of Tunisia. So that's what I was missing in my life. I knew I felt depressed and empty. Now I feel complete. Map of Europe if it was made out of UKs. And it's not just Europe, it's actually map of the European Union. Hilarious. They will never spiritually escape. They'll always be imprisoned in the EU memes. Britain is a very weird looking place. When you turn it on its side or lay it down like this, I'm like, what the f? If you compare the ancient Ghana Empire to the modern Ghana country, there is no shared territories. It used to be here thousands of years ago, now it's down here. And the problem with this is kind of interesting. I mean, it is weird. Why don't they have any modern borders touching like that? Egypt's still in the exact same location. I've just learned that modern Ghana has just been named after the ancient Ghana Empire, but they don't actually have any relation. I'm depressed now. Comparisons of stop signs in Europe. Wow, fascinating stuff you got here. here. Very interesting. It is kind of cool that Turkey's like the only outlier. Like, I'm obviously gonna just roll past slowly a stop sign, but if I see something like "dur" on the sign, well shit, I gotta stop then. Why does Spain and Poland look like they have the exact same stop sign? Like, the only two with that style? I love when resorts go above and beyond. This is a pool in San Marino that looks identical to San Marino. Who would have thought this would be achievable? Wow, and you know what's crazy? There's a little San Marino on my water bottle right here. What the hell? What a small world. If you draw a line from the westernmost point of the US to the easternmost point, and another line from the northernmost point to the southernmost point, it'll perfectly align in Prague, Nebraska. What are the chances? Once again, crazy to think how just drawing a line can almost take you anywhere. Just a solid line like this is unstoppable. You think the founders planned this? Like, this was probably their idea the whole time. A world map, but if the country of Sudan gave birth to a black hole. I mean, this has been a big problem for scientists for a long time. They know it's gonna happen, they just don't know when. I literally look at maps for a living almost every single day of my life. Gotta admit, never seen this one before. Map of Europe if Portugal. That's it, if Portugal. I can't believe I've gone my entire existence without seeing this. Didn't even notice the first time around. The genius of this design, we obviously have Earth here and all of our solar system's solid surfaces to compare it, but within all of that is actually Bulgaria, because Bulgaria is everywhere. We are all Bulgaria. I've even heard some scientists claim that we are all made out of Bulgarian dust. Did you know the Russian Federation is the largest country on the planet? Its total area equals to this many decimals football fields times 2. Wait, what? Why would they do this? Also, thank you for the visual aid imagining all those football fields. These dudes really help with that. Why? Like, why not just put the full number if you were gonna put this many decimals in the first place? There was more room in the text box. You could have even extended the line. Come on. A map of Africa at approximately June 24th at 9:46 p.m. This is based off all current data and predictions, so it's safe to say keep your eyes peeled during this moment and never be able to listen to Africa by Toto the same way again. Map of the Earth, but I drew it by memory in Minecraft. Wow, impressive. I can't even imagine if I went through life without ever seeing this. Thank you for that. Map of Jewish population in Afghan territory. Each red dot represents one person. Maybe the image didn't load. I don't see anything. Or maybe I'm going colorblind. I should get that checked. Native distribution of salamanders in white. So salamanders have us completely surrounded, apparently. They're building an army off the coast, getting ready for the great invasion. Kind of scary. Salamander's a little freaky looking. China, but if it was a duck, all you have to do is kind of draw its little beak, but that is really close to it. Korea can act as the beak? Why am I discussing this shit post? It's Gerald Forge. Gerald Forge. You know what Forge is? I didn't even know what that was until like 5 years ago. Something that Norway has. That's all I remember. Giant hornets, oof, 42 people in China. I see. We're talking Hong Kong, and obviously if we're talking China, we're talking South America. Where do these giant hornets come from? Asia? What? That's ridiculous. An Earth map, but the projection is irritating and very annoying. It looks like one of those Greenland-centric maps. I can't even tell what the hell's going on. Oh, I can see it now. North America makes me want to jump off a building. This is also actually kind of a view from like Central Russia. I've always noticed when you view from Central Russia, Europe looks scary. It's like a bunch of buddies that are ready to just gang fight you. No wonder they're so aggressive sometimes. They kind of nervous. They're paranoid. If 100 people lived in California, this is where they would live. 15 of those Californians would actually live in Texas, 7 would live in Oregon, and 7 would live in Washington. Crazy to think how many people living in California are actually living in Florida and Georgia and other places. I expected to see all these zeros, but there should be more, right? So if people lived in California, they would actually live mostly in Texas. I see. Wait a second. Was I fooled by fake news in the last one? If you actually draw a line from this area to this area and this area to this area, it actually crosses at Washington, D.C. Oh my god, I can't believe I was tricked. Or are you telling me that these lines can intersect at any point? No. It's ridiculous. Here's a map showing the percentage that is able to hold a conversation in Icelandic. So we have the country or island of Iceland, and 99% of people can hold a conversation in Icelandic. But the real key is in its neighboring countries. None of their neighboring countries can hold a conversation in Icelandic. Depressing. Like, get with your times. If you border a country, you should probably know a little bit of the language. Like, come on. You're looking like you're just a bunch of animals out here. Like a bunch of fish. Just dumb fish. Okay, for reals though. A little weird that 99% of people can hold a conversation in Icelandic, not 100. In ancient Roman, in traditional clothing, of course, the Togo. I don't know what else he would wear. Crazy that Rome actually predicted the nation of Togo. Like, they were so ahead of their time. Could you imagine all the lost information we could have had in the Library of Alexandria? They probably would have figured out exactly what the world map was going to look like in 2021. I mean, clearly, if they knew what Togo was going to look like with the flag as well, that's a key component. Oh man, I love these so much. 4 ways to divide Poland. We can divide Poland by green, red, blue, and I don't know, as well as green, red, blue, and I don't know. Oh, this one's just green, red, and blue, and also red and blue. Now those look familiar. I feel like I've really learned a lot about this country that I didn't know beforehand. Ah yes, a map of the British Empire in 2023. I can see they're really starting to eat up all that old territory again. Only a matter of time before they control a quarter of the world. Sun can't ever set. It's still not gonna set. Here's a map of the top 196 countries of the world. You guys did it. You should be proud. You are in the top 100%. That's incredible. I know 196 seems like a lot, but you just beat out so many others. Like, for instance, the Northern Island of New Zealand. They are not recognized. I think they were 197. Another map prediction, but this is actually from the past. This is a map, a world map of the Earth in 1504. It's easy to forget what it once looked like, but man, it's so beautiful. I was born in the wrong generation. Now, I just showed you the top 196 countries of the world. Well, here are the bottom 7. And yeah, it's safe to say these places should be ashamed of themselves. Chile, Argentina, South Africa, 2 little circle nations, and Oceania. Come on now. Maybe they'll do better next time. Maybe they'll be able to get higher up, but something tells me that's gonna be a really long time from now. Millions of years, I don't know. World map, but it's Mongolian-centric. I know I'm just reviewing shitposts, but it's hard for me to not break character and be like, this is interesting. This would actually probably be the world map projection if they kept their empire. Like, of course they were gonna make the center of the world Mongolia. Where else would they put it? I don't know what the hell's happening over here, but that doesn't matter. Mongolia doesn't care about the new world. They just care about pillaging. I don't really keep up with a lot of shows, but I know this one is pretty popular. Crazy how popular it's getting. So Brooklyn Nine-Nine was so big that they actually named a place called Brooklyn. Imagine naming your city off of a show? Like, damn. I mean, I get a song. An entire continent loved Toto's song so much they named themselves Africa. And then there's the city of New York, famously naming their city after Frank Sinatra's big hit. Countries who have their head of government from Delaware. Okay, the US, Biden is from Delaware. I think I knew that. But wait a second, what? Latvia? Did one of our American spies get elected as president somehow? So this huge pothole opened up randomly in this city, but it's insanely close to looking like an Uruguay. Look at that. This has gotta be a sign that aliens are out there and they're watching. And they probably really like Uruguay. Maybe that's where they're gonna visit first. The most left countries in the world. I don't want to get political, but gotta admit, these countries are pretty far left. Next up, we'll talk about the far right countries. Oh, so we have the top 196 countries of the world, but here are the top 50 states of the US. Huh. Top 50, huh? Amazing. I wouldn't imagine Texas being in the top 50, but I guess they are. Same for some of these other places. Missouri, Wyoming. Wait a second, Wyoming isn't a state. And big thanks to the patrons of May. Drew's Argentinian Grandpa. I'm About a Nut. LuxembourgLover. Poppy Drew Woo. I Love Drew Durnil. AryanAfterHours. Stormtrooper 501. Zeffi. Patrick C. Manny 74. Kaylee K. M203 BrushEm. Ian L. FusionWolf. Anthony G. SendNick. EpiNick. Elijah Senpai. Dalton D. Call of Tortoise. Anikyte. Aaron F. And Aaron F. 2.